Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. And today I'm going to be talking about the 5 best albums from 1987. An interesting year because there are loads of different genres which keep developing, and this list might come with some surprises. As a matter of fact, I think the number 5 to you might be a surprise, because I was in doubt. For a long time I had Michael Jackson Bad on a number 5, and don't get me wrong, it's a good album. It's a very good Michael Jackson album. But this one, I have been listening to more often. Here, on the number 5 spot, Emmylou Harris, Linda Ronstadt, and Dolly Parton with an album called Trio. And I'm not sure if you know this album. For me, this was the introduction to all three of these vocalists. And although I am not a big fan of the production sound of country music in the 80s, especially the late 80s, this, for me, is a holy grail of music. Not just of country music, of music. Because these three voices together, it is like sweet heaven. There are so many great songs on here. Wildflowers. To know him is to love him. I mean, if that isn't melting your heart, I don't know what will. The cover, I find it horrible. So I think if you're new to country, especially if you're new to 80s country, the cover might scare you. Don't. If you find a copy of this, go ahead, buy it. If you like good voices, if you like beautiful harmonies, then this is one hell of an album. This really deserves its place in the top 5 of best albums from 1987. On number 5, Trio by Emmylou Harris, Linda Ronstadt, and Dolly Parton. Now, to number 4. From one sweet tooth of an album to another sweet tooth of an album. George Michael with Faith. Now, I really love this one. This is one heck of an album. George Michael in the 80s was learning the principles of pop music and what was popular in those days through almost brilliant levels. I'm saying almost brilliant levels because he's not like the Beatles. He's not like the Beatles who took pop music and explored it beyond the reach of pop music. But George Michael, at a very early age, knew how to write, play, and produce a song. For example, the song Last Christmas, he did that in the studio almost by himself. He played all the instruments, he produced it, he sang it, he wrote that song. This man knew how to make pop music. And when he started a solo career, he was also trying to go beyond the usual pop sound. He was developing in soul, and don't misunderstand him by his charming boyish pop star looks, because I mean he does know how to represent himself in a 80s pop scene. But this man knows something about good music, good sound. This record starts with Faith, which has the beautiful Bo Diddley rhythm guitar. Oh, well, I guess it would be nice. And then we go to Father Figure. I mean, that's one hell of a song as well. And then I Want Your Sex. Now, I'm not sure if I have spoken about the Holy Trinity before, but the Holy Trinity is a very rare situation on a record in which all three tracks, one after another, 3 tracks, one after another, they are of hit quality. All these 3 songs were great, brilliant hits. You rarely come across a Holy Trinity, but coincidentally, this video will contain another Holy Trinity. Entire album, beautiful. If you haven't got it, give it a try. George Michael knows about good pop. Now, I'm gonna go for the number 3. This is an interesting one as well. Prince, Sign of the Times. And this was actually the first time I was able to accept Prince as a musician. I was not much of a Prince fan before I listened to this record. I just didn't really like the sound on Purple Rain. Well, later on that changed because I really like the sound on Purple Rain now. But this was the first album that really got me into Prince. I think this is a very strong album. It's a double record. I have an original press here. But you can easily find a reissue. I'm not sure about the quality of the reissue. I really like the cover art as well. I mean, the fact that this is Prince and the picture shows so much beautiful, in a certain way, chaos, though it is just a band stage. Great, great album. Worthwhile. On number 3, Prince, Sign of the Times. Now, and I'm going to go to the number 2. What number 2? Well, U2. Sorry, that's the worst dad joke I ever made in one of these videos. This one. This is U2 on top level. The Joshua Tree. As a matter of fact, I think just holding this cover somewhat feels, well, how do you say? Worthwhile. It's strange. Sometimes a cover just makes its impression. I think the artwork, the picture by Anton Corbijn, a great Dutch photographer, it is mesmerizing. Look at this. It's also the way it's printed. It's beautiful. And then if you take a look at what's on this, I mean, holy fuck. It starts off with a Holy Trinity, just like George Michael's Faith. Side 1, Where the Streets Have No Name. Masterpiece. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. One of the best moments of gospel music in pop music. That and Lay Down by Melody are, to me, perhaps the two most impressive moments of gospel music in pop music. And then the third song, With or Without You. Those 3 after another. Bomb. Smoked. Gone. This record is epic. And then it doesn't end after those, you know. Bullet the Blue Sky and Running to Standstill. And then side 2, In God's Country. I mean, this is one hell of an album. This is a masterpiece. And there is some, can we call this liner notes? I made a golden promise that we would never part. I gave my lore a lacket, and how I broke the heart, and then I broke the heart. It says Tom Waits, but it's obviously not written on this specific record. There is written on this specific record, by the way. You sometimes have that. Now, on number 2 spot, The Joshua Tree by U2. Now, for the best album of 1987, I'm gonna go to a rather rough band. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Oh, this is one hell of an album. Now, I'm not going to dive too deep into this because I've already done that in one of my 1001 albums videos, which I made. If you want to hear a longer opinion of what I think of this album, please go to that video. But for short, if you make an album with Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine on there, and there are so many good songs. My Michelle, Night Train. This blows out a speaker. This is one hell of a record. I mean, they did not invent rock and roll, but with this album, it sounds like they reinvented it, and like the energy is here as it was when Little Richard first appeared. This is rock and roll in its core form. So good. I love this album. The number 1 spot, best album of 1987. So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.